Everybody ready?
So,
This meeting of the Tyler ISD Board of Trustees was previously called to order. We do have a quorum. The meeting has been duly called and the notice of the meeting has been posted in the time and manner required. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and as we always do, we'll start this meeting with a prayer and a pledge, and I do believe it's my turn. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much just for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. God, you've bestowed upon this district, bestowed upon this community. God, I just pray that, we'll just honor you with those blessings and recognize you for them. God, it's the Christmas season, and I just pray we remember the reason for that and the joy that comes with that season, God. We also know it's a hard season. It's a hard season for many, and we pray your peace and comfort on those who might struggle during this time. Thank you for this board. Thank you for our staff. Thank you for our students. We have a break coming up, and I pray that everybody gets good and rested and has just an enjoyable one. And thank you, God, for, like I said, the many blessings you bestowed upon us. And it's in your Son, Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, we have just reconvened from executive session, and we do have a little action coming out of executive session. And it has to do with the following up on last meetings, the possible action terminating the Chapter 21 probationary employment contract of Cynthia Melton, Christy Davis, and Rose Pacina. Do I have a motion on that item?
Mr. President, I move that the board terminate the probationary employment contracts of Cynthia Melton, Kirsty Davis, and Rosa Pacina, which was previously proposed for termination at a prior meeting of the board, and that the required notice be sent.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, and the motion carries. Okay, we have special recognitions, favorite part of every meeting.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Crawford. We would like to begin our special recognitions this evening by announcing our December District Students of the Month. For the month of December, our elementary student of the month is Jalen Ewan, a grade student at Bonner
Elementary School. The secondary student of the month is Yanitzia Martinez, a senior at Tyler High School. And at this time, please join us in watching a video about these incredible students. Over the past decade, we have recognized and celebrated our district students of the month. These young individuals have exemplified a strong standard of achievement and perseverance in their public education career. Join us as we continue celebrating successful student outcomes. Tyler ISD is our hometown school district, and these are our district students of the month. Let's meet our district elementary honoree for December.
Hi, my name is Jalen, and I'm the district student of the month of December.
Jalen is a 5th grade Bonner B. He loves playing football and, like participating in his favorite sport, Jalen understands what it means to help his team.
You have to help them because if they don't understand something, you have to help them so then they can understand and pass the test.
In the past 4 years, Jalen has demonstrated a pattern of academic growth, which is reflected in his attitude towards learning.
You have to show growth, and you have to try your best passing your tests and things, and pay attention during class.
That's the biggest thing with him, and now he's super excited about it because he has seen this growth, and this is making him want to come to school, want to learn, and enjoy the time he's here.
Our district secondary honoree for December is...
Hello, my name is Yanitzia Martinez, and I am the District Secondary Student of the Month for December.
Yanixia is a senior at Tyler High School. Along with her studies at her home campus, she is heavily involved with the cosmetology program at the Career and Technology Center.
I feel like it's really empowering because a lot of the entrepreneur women that have came and talked to us, like all of their life story that they have told us, like it's more than just the nails, the makeup, the hair, and all of that.
Yanixia exemplifies positivity as a cosmetology student. Recently, she has signed up to be a part of the CTC student leadership team, where she will proudly represent the cosmetology program.
Yanixia is one of those students that is an exemplary student to show what we have here at the CTC. from learning leadership skills to employability skills, and what can take her from just being a high school student and beyond.
Throughout everything in the program, Unixia has been awesome. She's always willing to participate, help out her classmates. She does well with guests. She has great customer service. She's everything you could ask for in a student.
Let's congratulate these outstanding students as we continue to reflect successful student outcomes throughout the district. Sponsored by Christus Trinity Mother Francis Health System. And now we would like to invite the board to come down in front, and we will acknowledge our 2 district students of the month. And now we're going to welcome Jalen to the front to receive his Elementary Student of the Month award. Come on down, Jalen. Oh, no. You got to go all the way across. And then take the picture. No. You gotta go. Let's give Jalen one more round of applause. Okay, Unicia, it's your turn to come on down, our district secondary student of the month for December. Fix the hair. Okay, one more round of applause. Now we would like to recognize the 2 students whose artwork was selected for the 2023 Christmas card from Tyler ISD. First up is Alexandria Robles, an 11th grader from Tyler High School. Is she here? And also Denise Zarat, an 8th grader from Birdwell Dual Language Immersion School. Denise, come on down. We would also like to make an honorable mention for the students whose artwork was selected to hang it in our boardroom over here to the right. Levi McLacey, Light in the Sky from Three Lakes Middle School. Maya Williams, Hats Off from Three Lakes Middle School. Amelia Tenu, Merry Christmas from Three Lakes Middle School. Tatiana Lopez, Santa Claus is Coming to Town from Bolter Middle School. And Adrian Molina, Lowrider Christmas from Three Lakes Middle School. And now we would like to recognize our elementary district teacher of the month, Mika Fallon, a 4th grade teacher at Pete Elementary. And here are a few special comments from her principal. Mrs. Fallon has such a positive spirit that permeates in all that she does. Her classroom library exudes creativity. She motivates to grow professionally and is enthusiastic about her role as a teacher. She seeks out information and offers her assistance when needed. Mrs. Fallon places the true spirit of the Leader in Me program with the Think Win-Win mindset. Come on down. And our secondary district teacher of the month is Frank Rodriguez. He teaches welding, ag mechanics, and construction at Tyler Legacy High School. Here are a few comments from his principal. Mr. Rodriguez's classroom is welcoming of all students, and he teaches them skills that they can use beyond their days at Tyler Legacy. He is hands-on in all that he does in the classroom, and he makes sure that kids have an enjoyable time while learning how to weld, construct, or in general maintain vehicles and also other heavy machinery. Mr. Rodriguez is a valued member of the Tyler Legacy staff and always has a positive attitude. Come on down, Mr. Rodriguez. And that concludes our recognitions for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, as people are filing out, we're coming up to public participation. We do have some participants tonight. In fact, we have eight participants. So I think in order to keep it around 30 minutes, we'll give everybody 3 minutes to give you some time in between, and just do your best to stick to it if you can. So the first one we have is Karen Wilkerson. And Betty Mitchell's after Karen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a proud TISD graduate, now a taxpayer, a voter in Mr. Martinez's district, District 5. And I'm a parent. I have been a parent, and now I'm a grandparent of 2 school-age girls. And I want to speak against your proposed resolution to accept chaplains as volunteers in the schools. Employing volunteer chaplains in our schools has the great potential for negative impact on vulnerable students, particularly those who face discrimination and bullying due to their status as LGBTQIA, minority, and differently abled students. Chaplains do not have, often, the specialized training needed to assist young children, adolescents, and persons in all types of crisis situations, especially in our schools. Their inability could lead to no advice, bad advice, harmful advice, or even worse. This can create permanent harm to a vulnerable child. Your proposed policy would put principals already quite busy in charge of these chaplains as counselors. They are also not trained in the special psychological and emotional areas faced by LGBTQIA students who are in the schools. Their school years are quite formative and have lasting impact on that child's development. I speak tonight on their behalf. I'm a trained mental health services provider, and I have done this work. And I was also one of those kids. I urge you to vote against the proposed resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkerson. Ms. Betty Mitchell, and then after Ms. Betty, we'll have Kristen Stevens.
Good evening. I'm Betty McDonald Mitchell, and Ms. Yvonne Atkins is my area representative for the school board. And I want to, first of all, say how inspiring it was to see these students and the accomplishments of the teachers. I am a member of a group called GRACE, Godly Response to Abuse and Trauma in the Christian Environment. and the National Partnership to End Interpersonal Violence. And I, too, am speaking against any consideration of using chaplains in the schools as volunteer counselors in any particular way. Any funds that you have available to use these type of funding should go in hiring counselors. Chaplains are ill-equipped to handle this. And Grace, when we look at violence and trauma, we teach a course called When Faith Hurts. And there are so many times that out of the goodness of chaplains and ministers that try to do counseling, they actually do adverse harm. They're ill-equipped. The violence and trauma, the abuse that happens, the counseling that is needed needs to be handled by those that have certification, that have the schooling, the master's degree levels that's already required. When you look at what's required by chaplains, I can become a chaplain just by getting on the web. And I would say that it would be damaging harm to these individuals, to the students. And then think in terms of the lawsuits and the costs that it will become to Tyler ISD. So oftentimes you won't be saving money. As we do the investigations in faith-based organizations, we're seeing that the dollars and things that are spent to try to resolve these particular situations could be very costly, and more importantly, costly to the lives of the students. So I am against using chaplains in any kind of way as volunteers, as counselors. If they want to be used in volunteers in other capacities, then as long as they are, you do the background checks that you're required to do within the school system, that's one thing. But to use them in the capacity, I did talk to several ministers, including mine, who would have concern of volunteering in this capacity. They just don't feel that they have the capacity and the schooling and the education and the practice to handle the type of situations that will involve working with all children within the school district. So thank you for this time. God bless. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Season's greetings.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Kristen Stevens. And then after Kristen, we'll have Larry Taylor.
Hi, good evening, and thanks for the opportunity and say a few things. My name is Kristen Stevens, and I'm originally from the Dallas area and have lived in the Tyler area for over 20 years. I am both a parent and a grandparent. I currently work in the office of the Tyler Unity Center of Practical Christianity, and while I do believe that clergy and people of faith can give hope and help others, I do not believe that replacing school counselors with volunteer chaplains is what's best for our students. The issue is very important to both me and other parents in TISD who have vulnerable and/or disabled children who suffer from challenges and disorders, both physical and emotional. My personal experience is with two vulnerable and disabled students, my son, who has high-functioning autism, and my grandson, who has both ADHD and bipolar disorder. Both my son and my grandson were able to talk with a licensed school counselor who had both the training and experience to assist and help them. They helped them deal with their challenges, come up with coping strategies to continue in school successfully, and help them understand the boundaries of behavior acceptable in a school environment. My son also learned to deal with severe bullying, a serious challenge for any student. Therefore, I urge you to vote against the chaplain resolution. I am very concerned about chaplains' lack of specific training to deal with these and other student issues. I believe replacing trained school counselors with untrained chaplains would be unacceptable to parents of vulnerable school children. And point is, school counselors play an important role in students' lives that chaplains are not able to fulfill. School counselors are certified and licensed educators who improve student success for all students by implementing a comprehensive school counseling program. They help students apply academic achievement strategies, provide counseling, apply interpersonal skills, and plan for college or the workforce. Chaplains, in contrast, are religious leaders who are trained to provide religious services and spiritual care. Apparently, we're facing a licensed and trained counselor shortage in Texas, and I feel the school board should prioritize budgeting funds for hiring more school counselors and not implement unqualified volunteer chaplains. I have more to say, but I could go on for a while. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for letting me say what is close to my heart. I love my children, love my grandson, and I stand by protecting and helping and assisting all of our children in the most reasonable and best way possible. So thank you. Merry Christmas. Hope everything goes well for the school board.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. Larry Taylor, come on up.
Good evening.
How you doing, Mr. Taylor?
Good evening. Hi. My name's Larry Taylor. I'm a 15-year resident of Tyler, Texas. I came to speak in opposition to the idea of introducing chaplains to the Tyler Independent School District as a solution to school violence. I defer to your legal department, the presentation of Bill 763, subsection C, paragraph 3, whatever it is. My legalese is a little scratchy. I consider this bill, my discernment, it's an insult to you guys. It's an insult. It says your professional workers are incapable of helping. It says you must rely on the kindness of strangers. Just let some guy come in that's not a crook, not a sex pervert, just a normal old guy. He's good enough to do the job. The result of this bill, what it actually says, is what grumpy, grouchy Greg said immediately after the massacre at Uvalde. All we need is a good guy with a gun and pray. This bill would give you good guys with a gun and possibly a chaplain to say last rites. I don't know, I don't have my personal experience with spiritual crises in high school are way gone. I would say maybe Reed Holden Caulfield. It's about the best I can come up with. But somehow having a chaplain on campus doesn't seem to me to be where I would go to seek solace. I would hope that I had a relationship with my teachers that they would notice perhaps something was wrong. I think you should provide a safe environment, but I don't think people really want to work in a fortress. I don't think people want to depend on the kindness of strangers, but that's nice. The U.S. Constitution Establishment Clause says no establishment of religion. If you simply apply the Lemon Test, you'll discover that this is a subtle toe in the door of introducing religion to the government. I plead, let's stop it now. It's easier to say no now than deal with the legal complications, the social manifestations of, it's a trouble.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Okay, next we have James Wertzman. Followed by Kathy Thomas after that.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for letting me speak here tonight. I am Jamie Wertzman. I'm a resident of Tyler and a parent to 3 kids who graduated from Tyler High School. I'm a product of public education, and I trusted my kids to the Tyler public school system. I want Tyler's public school system to provide the children of Tyler a superior education to prepare them to compete in the areas of advanced academia, the workspace, and to be good citizens of this country. I have many concerns about the chaplain law, SB 763. The education and experience requirements of school counselors and their role in the education system is well documented. They provide an essential role for the well-being of our kids, and it appears chaplains are being added as a footnote to assume many of the same responsibilities of counselors without being required to have the same education and experience. If it is important for school counselors to be sufficiently educated and experienced, the same requirements should be made for anyone doing this role. We don't put school bus drivers in the classroom as a teacher. You know, different role, different job, different training. I believe we've been provided insufficient information to really make a decision on this. You know, will chaplains, what will they be doing in the schools? What experience will they need to have? How will they respect the religious freedom of the student and their family? You know, none of this seems to have been delineated. It's all a question to me. Until I think we have further information, I would recommend a vote of no until we have a better understanding of how chaplains would be used, how they would fill any voids, and would they really save any money or provide more service. Thank you, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Wurzman. Kathy Thomas, you're up next, and then Jamie Mims after that.
Dr. Crawford, members of the board, I thank you for the opportunity to express my opposition to this policy, allowing chaplains to replace guidance counselors in school. It's my understanding that Texas requires school counselors to have a master's degree and 2 years of teaching experience. It doesn't appear that this is going to be required of chaplains. In fact, my understanding is that chaplains only have to not be a registered sex offender. That is a low bar. I think we should require more than that, and I think the standard that we have for our existing guidance counselors is enough. School counselors also require extensive background checks that volunteer chaplains do not. In fact, chaplains do not have to be formally ordained by established denominations. It can be anybody who calls themselves a chaplain, an employee of a church who walks in and says, I can do this job. I don't believe they can. Counselors not only provide emotional support and crisis counseling, but at the high school level, we count on them to assist our kids to prepare for college or to enter the workforce. I don't believe chaplains are necessarily qualified to fill that role. I would submit to you that there are individuals in our community, including parents, who have advanced degrees. They have degrees in counseling, in psychology, in substance abuse counseling, and in other fields that advocate for mental health. If we're going to bend the rules here, why aren't we seeking out those individuals? If we're going to bend the rules, let's drop the requirement to have a 2-year teaching experience and allow somebody with a master's degree that is helpful to students. A chaplain who doesn't even have to be ordained, in my opinion, is not qualified to provide crisis counseling. I have 2 daughters who went through TISD and graduated, and I'm proud of our schools. I voted for every bond election. I am proud of the fact that somebody who's thinking about moving to Tyler can drive into town and see those state-of-the-art schools. I think it's a draw, that along with our healthcare system. We're a great town. I would really hate for the quality of our school system to go down because we don't have qualified personnel. I could go into the whole First Amendment thing, and I would love to, but I won't. But please consider the fact that we have a lot of religious diversity in our schools. We have Jewish kids, we have Muslim kids, we have kids who don't practice any religion at all. And to me, it's not right for a counselor, for a chaplain, to be giving guidance advice to kids that they have nothing in common with. I thank you for your time. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Okay, we have Jamie Mims coming up, and then followed by, last but certainly not least, it'll be Karen Stansberry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamie Mims. My husband and I have 3 children and 1 grandchild that attend Tyler ISD. SB 763 gives you, as the school board, the ability to bring in hired or volunteer chaplains into our schools. But let's take a step back for just 1 second and put ourselves in the shoes of our children. You may be a Catholic, you may be Baptist, you may be Muslim, you may be Jewish, and you may be atheist. For example, if a child is raised in a Baptist home with an understanding of Baptist teaching, and a teacher sends you to the chaplain for counseling, what's to stop a chaplain from the Catholic faith from counseling that student to do 10 Hail Marys and 5 Our Fathers? In Tyler alone, over 73% of the population is religious, with Baptist being the highest at 31%, Catholic at 13%, Methodist at 7%, and Pentecostal at 5%. That still leaves 27% of those that either are not religious or that do not practice these faiths. So for every 100 kids in Tyler ISD, if a chaplain comes from Baptist teaching, at least 69 of those students do not have the same views as that chaplain may have. What's the plan to accommodate the other 69 students who need or request a chaplain from another denomination? Recently, over 100 Texas chaplains, including some right here in Smith County, have been very public in saying they oppose school districts employing chaplains. Why are they doing this? It's because chaplains know they are not qualified or certified to handle mental health, suicide prevention, and other behavioral health services. Chaplains are trained to provide spiritual and emotional support to people who ask for it. What if a student is raised as an atheist at home and is sent to a chaplain? How are they going to feel safe to talk to a chaplain who might not approve of who they are? As our school board, SB 763 says nothing to prevent chaplains from attempting to convert a student from one religion to another, nor does it require chaplains to receive consent from the parents, nor does it allow a school district to make available chaplains from any faith or denomination requested by a student. We are used to seeing chaplains, for example, in a hospital setting, someone who can pray over us before we go into surgery, or to help a family say their last goodbyes to a loved one before they pass. The difference is we, as adults, are seeking that guidance, and we know what we are getting. With children, what's to stop a chaplain from telling our children that their behavior is a sin and that it can merely be prayed away? Depending on their religious background, chaplains could push strategies on our students, which could leave our children feeling like their relationship with God, Allah, Brahman, Buddha, or whatever, is broken, and in turn, they are broken and damaged as a result. In closing, as someone who is a Christian, was raised a Baptist, and even baptized, we need to keep counselors in our schools. Give them the tools that they need to better serve our children. And please do not replace them with uncertified, unlicensed chaplains. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mims. Okay, and lastly, Ms. Stansberry, Karen Craver Stansberry.
I am last, yay. I'm Karen Craver Stansberry.
She went like, I don't know, 30 seconds over, so you got like 2.5 minutes. Sorry about that.
Well, it's okay. It works out. Longtime taxpayer to the TISD in the city. 2 kids that graduated from Legacy. Grown now, so haven't had kids in a while. A lot of you have heard the story about Pandora's box. I think that's one most of us know. She was instructed not to open the lid of that box or there might be something she didn't like. And what did she do? She opened it. Now, she'd ask her friends, hey, let's talk about this, like in a room like this. You think I should open this box? I think most of her friends would have said, why don't you just leave it be? let it go. Let's see, you've got a good life. Well, I feel like the issue of chaplains in this school is opening a Pandora's box. Because right now, the way it's written, I don't see how anyone can decide what type of chaplain is going to be in which school. I mean, are they going to be Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, snake handling, Mormon? All of those are, I guess, religious groups. All of them could be said they're a chaplain. Heck, I'm a chaplain with the Dudism church. The dude.
Dude abides.
Yeah. So I think anybody can be a chaplain, right? So you go into who makes the decision of these chaplains. We don't want it to be somebody from like the 1933 area of Germany who was a severe narcissistic personality who thought one faith or one group of people were far superior to another. And so it's a slippery slope. And right now, this separation from church and state is really teetering. And I think you guys have an opportunity to say, you know what, let's keep the chaplain situation out of the schools and keep the lid on that Pandora's box. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That is it for public participation, and we will be talking about some of that in a second. So don't anybody get up and go, because I do think there might be some clarification needed, and hopefully we get that. So, but next we have a Mentoring Alliance update.
Hello, everybody. Dr. Crawford, President Washman, School Board. It's good to be back with you. I'm Kevin East with Mentoring Alliance. This is Matt Edwards, who's also with us at Mentoring Alliance, overseeing all that we do here now, Tyler area. I first want to say on a personal note, Dr. Crawford, thank you for 10 years of being a great superintendent here in Tyler. I have 6 kids now, 3 biological, 2 adopted, 1 foster, and many other fosters who've all been a part of Tyler ISD. And so thank you all for helping provide a great education for my kids. My oldest is graduating this week. He decided to graduate early with a 33 in the ACT, thanks to Tyler ISD. So thank you for all you've done. Hey, I want to give you all a quick update. First of all, I want you to know that based on the creativity of this school district and Mentoring Alliance working together, we've now expanded into Waco, and we're opening Abilene this summer. We have other districts saying, when can you expand here? Based on what y'all have helped create. How can we help kids after school, out of school hours? And so that's what we do. We partner together to be really creative about how we can help kids. And so as a few reminders here, our mission at Mentoring Alliance is we want to mobilize godly people into the lives of kids and families to provide both tangible help and eternal hope. With 3 outcomes we're looking for as a Mentoring Alliance organization: vibrant faith, academic success, and emotional resilience. We do that through 3 programs. If you remember, we have after-school programs, we do one-on-one volunteer mentoring, and we do summer day camps during the summertime, all to help accomplish these goals. And so this year, I want you to know we have about 1,000 kids from Tyler ISD now involved in our after-school programs at 18 different locations, that every afternoon we're hopefully fulfilling a need in their lives to not go home and just kind of be bored or wander the neighborhood, but to be involved in structured activities, academic support, where they can get food in their belly for dinner time, where they can get people who care for them, walk life with them. Each and every afternoon in all these different settings, people who know their names, who can hear what's going on in their lives, who can help with homework, who can help with additional support, or who can just let them be creative. That's what we do. In our after-school setting, we measure a bunch of different things. We hire outside companies to come and measure 3 main things: emotional resilience, academic success, vibrant faith. A lot of different statistics like these, where we're measuring, do kids feel safe? Do they feel loved? Do they feel like they matter? So we measure things like this. Now, I bring this up to you about our after-school program because of all the districts we measured this year, Tyler ISD in our after-school program had this really interesting thing we noticed in our measurements, and it was this next one. The kids involved in our after-school programs this past year saw a 267% increase in reading gains compared to kids from their same schools. So the company we hire out of Colorado who comes in independently measures their academic success, which is important to us, we were surprised to see even by grade level where these reading gains were being had. And so again, we're excited to see a bunch of kids in Tyler ISD being involved. Our hope, like we've talked about in the past, Dr. Crawford, with you and your leadership, is how can we reinforce the basics of reading, of learning in the afternoon hours to really reinforce what's being done throughout the day. So that's our after-school programs. Now, Matt, I'd love for you to comment, if you would maybe even scroll through these, just about some people who stepped up as mentors this past year.
Okay. You just see several of these examples. This is actually a mom from White House and her mentee, and it's fun to see she is pregnant. And just it's a coincidence that her daughter's name that will be born is the name of her mentee, just by coincidence. But they've been matched, and it's a great relationship. We've got this young man here. Some of you may recognize Malik Lewis. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Ian Wade, our director of our summer camp program, one of the finest young leaders you'll find anywhere, and he can speak with the best of them. Malik is probably going to be the guy that replaces Ian someday when Ian is off doing his next gig. Malik just graduated from, I believe, the CTC last year, and he's been with us for 2 years now. Phenomenal young leader that's a product of Tyler ISD, and we're really excited. He is a mentor, as well as working in after-school program and summer camp, and has unlimited energy. I'm very jealous of Malik Lewis. And then we've got some people here that have moved in from Dallas and jumped right in with the mentoring program, like myself and many others. And our friends like Thomas Newhoff with his young mentee here. And Thomas has driven a lot of miles and moved around, and just a great relationship starting. And the cool thing that we know about mentoring is it really changes me more than it does the child that's involved, as I've been a mentor myself for over 12 years. And so our Mentor Connect program is strong, and the kids that are coming through the school program, a lot of them are getting connected now with mentors in our program, men and women, and even old executive directors of Boys and Girls Clubs like Ron, and Sherry, his wife.
And then lastly, the last program we have is what we call our summer camps, or as Dr. Crawford likes to affectionately call Rose City Summer Camps, which is the original name before it expanded to other communities. As y'all might remember, we had...
It'll always be Rose City.
It'll always be Rose City Summer Camps, Steve, that's right. But you know what? As I told Dr. Crawford this summer, Abilene ISD, their superintendent, their school board, came out to see these summer camps in Tyler ISD schools, and we're so impressed. They're like, can we open 2 locations this next summer? So we're opening 2 locations of our summer camps in Abilene ISD this year. Again, credit to Tyler ISD and the creativity to work alongside how can we impact kids even outside the school, the normal school day setting. And so this summer we had numerous locations in Tyler ISD. Kids show up every day as tradition, walking the red carpet, being celebrated as they come into camp each day, Monday through Friday, for between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. For about 9 weeks this summer. We do all sorts of things, turning schools into camps over the summer, bringing in inflatables. It's a little bit warm over the summer, so we put water on those inflatables or kids would get burned. All sorts of creative games inside the schools, from Nerf guns like this to octoball like this, to bowling pins in the hallways where kids turn into human bowling balls. Apparently.
They're on rollers. They weren't just thrown into
All I know is they took this picture like 5 times to try to get the picture right, they told me. And so I'm like, those poor kids did that same picture 6 times. Other things where they have small group time, where college staff that we've hired and trained from all over the South come to Tyler now to work with these kids. From dance times that we have during the summertime, where kids again are celebrated, they're loved, they're communicated that they matter, they belong. They're loved by their counselors, cared for. And then, again, hats off to Tyler ISD certified teachers who teach 1 hour of math, 1 hour of reading in the middle of the summer camps. If you interact with these teachers over the summertime, they actually really love being a part of it. And we have gotten the best of Tyler ISD teachers each summer that keep signing up, that keep wanting to work with these kids in a creative learning environment like the summer camps. And so hats off to them as they get creative in what they're doing, because as I've told many times to people in the community, we tried doing academics on our own years ago and it was terrible. And so once we got in certified teachers who knew what they were doing to come in and do what they do best, it was a great partnership that benefited these kids in many ways. And so, as many know, our summer staff turn into teachers' aides during the academic time, where they can be used to facilitate the learning, given more one-on-one, one-on-two, one-on-three instruction, assisting the teachers. Again, like the words in bold say, we want to make sure that kids feel loved and that they matter. Different things we're measuring because of that last one, because we want kids to make sure they feel safe to try new things. Then in a summer camp setting like that, we want kids to know that they're loved and they matter and they can try new things. They can experience the joy of success and understand that failure is not that bad. Everybody experiences it, and they can keep trying as opposed to just shutting down, which many kids from tough backgrounds end up choosing to do. And so this past year, Tyler ISD did change their assessment mechanism, assessment measurement, which made it tricky for the company out of Colorado to measure. They use what they call a propensity score matching method for kids from the same schools to measure. It's not quite an apples to apples, but we did see a 3% increase in reading, a 4% increase in math. We're looking forward to this next summer kind of being back in an apples to apples comparison with assessment tools, so we can make sure we're providing the best, most accurate information to you.
So are
as a
we.
school board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody from TEA is out there listening,
Yeah.
so are we.
Okay, good. So I don't know much about that. I just know that I'm being told, like, okay, this was tough this year. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad we're paying y'all to do this and I'm not having to figure it out myself. So anyway, all to say, for us at Mentoring Alliance, thank you for being able to partner with us. Our goal is to impact kids in the out-of-school hours together. And I appreciate y'all's partnership in doing that.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any comments or questions for our presenters?
I'll make a comment. I'm a big fan of what y'all do and everything that y'all do in our schools. It's always amazing. I certainly love seeing the data. But while you're here and, public meeting and handful of YouTube views, what can we do to help? What can the community do to help?
What the community can do to help, I would say, look, is to what Matt shared. We're always inviting people to step up and mentor. Many people know I've been a foster parent for 15 years, adopted kids out of the foster system. There's never an abundance of people that are willing to step up their volunteer hours to make an impact. There's never enough. And there are kids and families all throughout this community that say, man, my child or the child that I'm the guardian of could greatly benefit from a mentor. I would invite them to get involved with us so that we can do that. The other thing is that they know kids, families, who they say, hey, look, this would really benefit you to be involved in our after-school programs or summer camps. Get the word out. We have many locations again this summer coming up.
And I would add, if you know any business owners, we're a solid pipeline for kids to get into the school. They come through our program. They're at TJC, they're at UT Tyler, a lot on scholarship now. And many end up, like Kevin said, teaching in Tyler ISD, and they're becoming great employees in our city. So any business people that want to get behind us, that helps in the process too.
Having to replenish the employees that y'all are stealing from us sometimes, Kevin.
No. Make no mistake, we have supplied way more.
I know. I gotta give you a hard time. Two things. One, Abilene, it can be Key City summer camps. I think Abilene's called the Key City.
It is, yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
There you go. I know y'all still got to do MA after school. I get it, but maybe David can call it that. No, seriously, it's a solid partnership, and there's no doubt about it. And for those that might be considered, that maybe wonder about the faith-based aspect of it, this is an opt-in.
That's right.
Program that parents are choosing to send their kids to. You said there's 1,000 or so students that are
programs,
in the after-school program. How many participants in the summer?
1,200.
About 1,200, yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah. So I've got a way for my kiddos to be engaged and looked after school. And not everybody has that opportunity. It's a very affordable program. There's scholarshiping that's available for those that need it. Same thing in the summer. Some of my better memories as a kid growing up in dear old East Texas, word that my mom and dad sent me to summer camp that was run by the school district. Much smaller, obviously, in Lindale and Carthage, but being able to partner with someone like MA has really provided a substantial impact on our school system. So thank you all for willing to partner with us. Sometimes schools are hard to deal with, we get it, but it's no complaints here over 10 years.
I appreciate that.
Just looking at your after-school program in regards to reading in particular, you're blowing me out of the waters. 267% increase. Now, could you talk a little bit more about that? Because I'm very concerned about closing the gap. And when you see 267% increase, is this 1 year over years or what? That's very significant when we talk about the deficit that we have in reading.
I appreciate the question. It's a great point. We were surprised to see it as well. Every year we're measuring a number of things. I get a report pages and pages long of things we're seeing in different districts. So for instance, this summer in Robinson ISD outside of Waco, we saw a massive increase in their first year of doing summer camps with us. With a 267% increase, the best thing I can tell you is maybe 2-3 years ago, Dr. Crawford and I talked to some of your assistant superintendents, Dr. Hanson and others, about the importance of just simply reinforcing the basics of reading in our after-school programs. We want to make sure kids get their homework done. We want to make sure they get food in their belly, things like that. But just reinforcing the basics of reading. We're like, you know what? We can do that. We can train our staff how to do that. And so that's what we've been doing for years. And we go, look, we think it's beginning to pay off now. That those basics, the basic reinforcements of reading add up over time. And we're excited to see what those actual data measurements are at this point.
And I've been out to every one of our elementary schools here in Tyler in the month of November, and I was surprised in how many schools I found where the parents didn't want the kids involved in anything else but getting their homework done. So there were groups of kids up on the stage with some of our counselors. Literally, that's all they did was reading and homework, and that was the value to that family.
Mr. Newsom, I do think it speaks to the plea that I gave in the state of the district about external forces that cause a lot of pressure on our ability to perform as a school system. Again, we partner with these folks, so they're para-school, I guess you can say it, but that statement alone right there about being able to get your homework done in a safe environment with minimal assistance, really, because it's your people that are actually doing the supervision. It's just getting their homework accomplished in a very a safe environment, a very calm environment, is something we need help on within our community, which leads us to the mentoring component of Mentor Connect. And again, it's kind of speaking my language right now of the help we need is the mentoring and the impact and the improvement of society outside the envelope of our school buildings. We've got great staff. Some of them are here tonight, and they're working their tails off every day. And expecting the public school system to fix the world's problems is not the way to go about this. Y'all are providing a good example that we need that to grow. There's no doubt about it, whether it's y'all's group or some other group.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's a component that's really worth discussing. I know that there are a lot of people out there that volunteer. This city is known for its volunteerism, and having more volunteers willing to do something similar to what you're doing in the Mentoring Alliance would really make a big difference, I believe personally. And unfortunately, we haven't gotten enough individuals willing to take the time to help our students, which is the future of our world. So I'm a very strong advocate of the Mentoring Alliance in regards to what you've done and what you've accomplished, and just seeing that percentage in reading alone based on the program that you're doing. We need a lot of individuals that's willing to give a little bit more time to help these individuals one-on-one.
Yeah, and Mr. Newsom, instructionally speaking, Mr. Edwards is probably, and Mr. East aren't going to give the strategy that's behind that improvement. But when you're talking about the basics of reading, it's the brain science. It's the focus on the phonological awareness, enunciation of words, and understanding how words are developed. The phonemic, that's what you're working on in the summer more than anything.
That's right, and that came from y'all's wisdom in that. For us, the basics are getting homework done As Matt said, we know that's a huge burden for parents or guardians to pick up their child from an after-school program. We go, okay, homework is done, that's helpful. But the phonological kind of reinforcements, the idea of like, okay, what can we do to reinforce the basics of reading? It's significant, and we recognize at a young age especially, it's a very significant thing to do, and we've been trying to be diligent at getting better at doing it.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that at the dais right before your entry onto the school board, I believe, and we're going with Voyager, Sopris West, and then they mandated reading academies. We had actually kind of started doing that before the state came and started making us do that, which we thought we had a lot of momentum going because we owned it. And so in saying that, that's the reading wars about how you provide reading instruction. It's almost like it was the actual mechanics of reading versus just putting a book in a child's hand because they're going to love to read. Well, if you can't read it, how are they going to love to read? And so we were missing that. It's more of a blended approach now, obviously, because we want to encourage kiddos to read, but at the same time, understanding how to become the comprehension piece of that is so important. Ms. Atkins, you know that as well, that if kids can't read, and you're going to do silent, sustained reading in a classroom, Mr. Jones, or you're going to do teacher read aloud, Dr. Markle. How about, you like that? Okay. Newly Dr. Markle. It does us no good for the kids just to sit there. I mean, yeah, they get enthralled with the storytelling, but does that help them with reading and comprehension and reading and the actual mechanics of it? So that's what y'all are talking about, and I think it's invaluable. 6+ weeks is kind of the magic number.
That's right.
And so you're not talking about taking up the entire summer, but certainly half the summer or more is something that we would really like to see from those kiddos.
Yeah. One other observation, and I'll be done, just the serendipity that I've seen when the parents pick the child up at the end of the time in the summertime after 10 hours with us. When they get in the car, they're usually asleep within a few minutes because they are literally running all day, 5 days a week, and that's just a real blessing for these kids.
From a practical standpoint, extra practice always helps, and I think that's what you're probably seeing when it comes to reading is these kids are spending extra time, just like any sport, any extra training helps. And then secondly, you know how important mentorship is to me, and it's been very impactful, hopefully for my mentee, but me and my family as well. And as you go through and grow and get to know somebody, you also understand the weight.
That's right.
And it's this kind of maturation kind of comes with it, where you realize this is important, and I'm not enough, but it is important, you know. So anyway, I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you for being a mentor.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, after that, we have a public hearing on the 2023 School Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. There's an acronym for that. It's called FIRST, because this is education, and we have acronyms for everything. So, the first report, Tasha Bjork, the district status for 21-2022. So we have a presentation, and then we have an opportunity for public and board comments only on the first report. One time we had a speaker that wanted to come talk about some other stuff, only on the first report.
Good evening. I'll try to remember to click it this time.
Okay.
Okay, keep in mind this data is 15 months old. They are like a year and 3 months behind on the first rating. So the first 4 indicators, we must answer yes or we fail. And so I'll go through those really quickly. We have to file our annual financial report on time. We have to have an unmodified opinion in the annual financial report. We have to be in compliance with all payment terms of our debt. And we have to make timely payments to TRS, Texas Workforce Commission, IRS, and other government agencies. And there's like 4 or 5 that they aren't scoring this year because of COVID. They haven't scored them, so I've skipped number 5. And then number 6, if you don't pass this one, you have an automatic B. They want to make sure that you have at least 75 days of operational expenditures, and we're almost double that, so we're pretty good on this one. The next few are indicators that are on a point system, and this is how you get your grade. On indicator 7, the number of days of cash on hand and investments, is it sufficient to cover operating expenditures? And we're at, last year we were at 135%, and you have to be greater than 90. The measure of current assets to current liabilities, we're 5.59 times, and we have to be greater than 3 to get the full 10 points. Did the general fund's revenues equal or exceed expenditures? And yes, we did, so we're okay on that one. Number 10, not scored. The ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets, and this one we are a little high, 64%, and we should be at 60, but we get 8 of the 10 points. We were 8 on this one last year too. The debt per $100 of assessed value, sufficient to support future debt repayments. On this one, we got 8 points. We're at 4.45, and you must be less than 4. This one is something to be really proud of. Our administrative cost ratio, meaning our admin expenses at central office, we are at 5.32%, and the standard for districts our size is 8.55%, so we're well under that.
Hold on, Ms. Bjork. Are we less than we were in 2020 and 2021?
Yes.
We were?
Mhm.
And we're underneath the standard?
Yes.
Okay. That's on administrative cost ratio?
Right.
Like how much does it cost to administrate your district?
Right.
Including that's
it's central
administrative
office
offices?
function. Mhm.
Okay.
Payroll, your office, my office.
HR?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. And this one's not scored. Number 15's not scored. This one is a comparison of our PEMS data to our annual financial report, and we had no variances, so we get the full 10 points on that. Did the external independent auditor report, was it free of material weakness and internal controls? And yes, it was. Did they have any material non-compliance for grants, contracts, or laws? And there was no non-compliance, so we did get that indicator. And we did post our required financial information on our website, so we got the 5 points for that. And then we're required to discuss our property values within 100 days before we adopt the budget, and we go through that usually in May and June and July, so we're definitely good on that. So for this year, we met all 11 of the indicators with 96 of 100 possible points, and yes to all the other 8 indicators. So therefore, we have an A, superior achievement. And then there's some other little things we have to go through. The superintendent's contract is posted on our website.
Tasha, what if you don't put that on the website?
I have to show it, I have to pass it out at this meeting.
Yeah. So there are other school districts that don't post their superintendent's contract on the
Right.
website. They're supposed to be passing out the contract to everybody at the meeting.
Mhm.
I wonder if they really do that or not.
I doubt it.
Okay.
I think most of them probably
Okay,
put it
just
on.
keep
It's
posting it
easier.
online. Okay.
Yeah. And then we're required to show expense reimbursements for the superintendent and the school board, and that's just a summary. And no additional fees or compensation to the superintendent from an outside entity. Are there any gifts of 250 or more by any board member or the superintendent? No. Business transactions, none with any businesses of the members of the school board. And this is just to show solvency for the next 3 months of the year. They just require us to show the next quarter of expenditures. It's about a quarter of our budget. And then did we draw on a short-term note? No. Did we have a fund balance less than 2% of total expenditures? No. And have we declared financial exigency within the past 2 years? No. We've only had one superintendent and one business manager for the last 5 years. And then really there's nothing, the rest of it's just, any questions? Just trying to get through it for y'all.
Does the board have any comments or questions on this first report? No? Okay, good. Well done. Thank you for keeping us in good shape. You always do.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
He's talking. You may have to say something to him.
Yeah.
Do what?
Do what?
And
He's
then,
not done.
and then we do have opportunity for public comments. Anybody? Bueller? Karen, Larry, James, nobody? Okay.
Ms. Bjork, how many consecutive years is that a superior achievement under your leadership?
I think we've been doing it 23.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Really appreciate you. We really do.
Thanks.
Okay. Done with that. We got some minutes to approve. I'm going to entertain a motion on the approval of minutes from November 2nd and the 13th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, and the motion carries. I wasn't supposed to take a vote or anything on that last one, was I? I mean, that's just
On
a
the first?
presentation.
No.
I am known to miss a few things, y'all, so. Okay, now we do have this business legal finance consent agenda. Instead of pulling individual items, I do want to just get a couple of maybe clarification on a couple of items.
Yeah, we will need to pull B.
Okay,
Gifts
let's-
and donations.
Oh, yeah, as
Yeah,
always.
as
We'll
always.
pull gifts and donations. We're going to pull B. Okay. Now, it does appear that there might be some confusion regarding item F. Would you care to just kind of expound on that a little bit? Because what I was hearing was we're going to be replacing counselors with chaplains. And that was not my understanding at all of this policy. My understanding of the policy was that, as many of you know, we can't necessarily control all the time what comes out of Austin. And this item in particular came out of Austin, and every school board in the state is required to put their hand up. And now we looked at our policy, and in reading what came out of Austin, we said, oh, we already have and accept chaplains as volunteers, just like we accept a lot of people as volunteers, correct?
Yeah, one opens my kid's door every Friday on Husky Lane at Hubbard.
So this is not tightly correlated, because when we started talking about this months ago, it was concerning to me what the state is making us kind of do here. But as we unpacked it, we realized, well, as it says here, what we're voting on is the resolution of us, the board, to accept chaplains as volunteers in accordance with existing district policy.
Existing district policy.
So we already have existing district policy to allow many people as volunteers, but maybe a chaplain in there from time to time.
Maybe we ought to pull it. I mean, 8 people came and spoke.
Let's pull it. All right, we'll pull that one. We'll talk about it coming up. Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to go off on that. And then Item C,
Yeah, I think that was the other one.
okay.
Yeah, pull them.
Let's pull it.
Right.
B, C, and
B, C, and
B,
F.
C, and, yeah.
I move we approve all items other than B, C, and F.
Thank you, Mr. Bergfeld.
Second.
Do I have a second? Thank
Yeah.
you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. See the Caldwell Peeps back there? Congratulations. I know y'all been waiting a long time for that.
the rigging, yes.
The rigging. Okay, let's go gifts and donations.
Awesome. On page 16 of your packet, the benevolency of this community continues to amaze all of us, and tonight is a special night. We've seen booster clubs, we've seen PTAs provide a lot of extracurricular support outside of the normal budget requirements of a school, of a campus that's provided by this board as recommended by administration. Tonight, we have some incredible gifts that have been giving. I'll save the biggest one for last. First, we have Caldwell Elementary Arts Academy PTA, Caldwell Arts Academy teacher grants for the amount of $5,853.03. They do such great things over there, and we're very appreciative of those folks who provide supplemental opportunities above and beyond what they're already doing. $30,000 at Dr. Brian C. Jack Elementary from their PTA, Dr. Brian C. Jack Elementary playground equipment. Even, yes, Mr. Shelby, I see in the back there with your staff as representative as well. Appreciate the PTA as well that's here tonight, providing that. We are going around repairing what we can repair. Mr. Loper's in the back in case y'all want to go talk to him. Because these playgrounds that we're getting, that we're repairing, think about this, are now 20 years old. That's a lot of sun and UV and wind and rain and snowmageddons and mini snowmageddons like we had last year that are along with just kids climbing all over them. It's time to repair those. So we've got crews that are ready to go to do that. Mr. Loper, he's back there shaking his head, and they're actually doing some of that right now as well. We've also got some recommendations that the board will be acting upon later on, probably to get rid of some of those blasted wood chips. Is that correct? Okay. Because I know y'all are excited about those hanging out in your parking lots as we try to get to them. The last thing, last item on here, an incredible amount here from a Jack L. Benson, Douglas Elementary playground equipment and outdoor learning area. Yet to meet Mr. Benson or his representatives, but we are putting in front of the board tonight for consideration a $100,000 donation to Douglas Elementary, which is incredible. Again, this is just an example of what we have here in Tyler, Texas, and how much this community does give back. One of the speakers spoke to the facility. There's no doubt about that, but these coming out of a trust or a bank account is incredible.
That's incredible. And I know we've been working on playgrounds and have a plan for playgrounds, but there's also been all these other donations and everything. But I think Mr. Benson's takes the cake.
Man,
that's absolutely incredible.
I dare someone out there to match it.
Yeah, we dare.
One for each elementary.
There you go.
Man, yeah,
Thank you.
Tyler is an awesome place. And anybody have any comments or questions? Other than we're just extremely grateful, extremely humbled to always accept donations from this community to help. It takes a village, and every dollar helps. So I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on the gifts and donations.
I move we approve gifts and donations.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you to the Jack PTA and Jack Benson and all those who helped out with Caldwell. Item C is consider approval of employee health care plan changes to TRS Active Care. Would you care to just briefly summarize that?
Yeah, on page 17 of your packet, so it's the item right after that, if you want to turn to that. We had a workshop on this November 30th, after Thanksgiving break. And I'm sure everyone out there that's listening right now, that's in the audience actually live and in person, can understand that the cost of healthcare is rising exponentially, with no end in sight. Tyler ISD is a self-funded school system. In other words, we have not been participating on the state's plan. And for a long time, that has been advantageous for us. However, recently, we are having to dip into some of those incredible budgetary accomplishments that Ms. Bjork just presented to sustain that, and have actually studied and investigated a switch over to TRS Active Care. Things that are out of our control. We have a great partner in Christus Trinity Mother Frances Hospitals and Clinics. So this is kind of it's not a breakup. But it is it's not y'all, it's us type of thing. Because we're having to supplement whatever agreement we have with them to take care of things like stop loss. If you're not familiar with what stop loss insurance is, go look it up. And when you're a self-funded school system like we are, that we're a teaching and learning institution, the strain on your tax dollars as they're provided us is going to become more and more evident as we go forward. So stop loss insurance, pharmaceutical plans are incredible right now. The administrative costs to manage things like dialysis care, third-party administration, along with other pieces of this that are separate outside of the Christus Hospital organization. We're responsible for that. And then freestanding emergency rooms. Boy, those have popped up, and you got to think that there's money to be made with as many of them that are popping up. We're responsible for that. And it winds up with that, us having to, down the road, have to consider compensation challenges with our staff if we didn't make this switch. So it's in the best interest of the district. We're making that recommendation to y'all. Giving up our independence may seem superficial on this, but I don't know how independent we are right now, Ms. Bjork, because of how beholden we are to these additional entities in regard to that, especially stop loss. It's incredible, especially when you're covering spouses. You know, it's one thing to take care of your employees if they do have a tragic illness, but spouses are really adding to some of our burdens as well. So part of the workshop that we had, that's kind of a brief update of what we had. If y'all want to make any comments on that, I'm going to open the floor for y'all to do that.
Any comments or questions, board? I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned it. Christus is an awesome partner, and they have been and will continue to be. Last year was one of those kind of anomaly years that we experienced with insurance and stop loss, and it into the millions that it cost the district. And it was increasing seemingly every year, but last year especially was this year that really kind of exposed where our weaknesses. So
yeah, the sickest this country has been in 2020 and 2021 was our least, over the last 7 or 8 years or so, was the least we spent because people stayed away from hospitals and didn't do what the elective stuff, and they didn't go in. After that, because of the way the world has turned with the economy of the world, we're really starting to feel that. And it is compounding and it's exponential, and it's just not a wise budgetary risk to take with a recommendation saying we can fix this to make people healthier.
Traditionally, being independent was more affordable typically for our staff. And this switch, it'll actually be more affordable for the overwhelming majority of the staff and the district as well, right?
That's correct. Yeah. There's pockets within there's about 200 to 300 employees that we're going to have to be creative with to make it a break even, but there's also going to be quite a few of our employees. I think 60% of our employees participate, Tasha. Is that correct, Ms. Bjork? That actually they're going to pay less for monthly premiums than what they're paying right now. That's how this is all turned upside down compared to what we used to brag about.
And their network will be broader.
It will. It won't be as tight. It won't be just behind the pine curtain.
Well, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit before we actually approved it, although we had a whole meeting on it and
correct,
got a lot of data. So
correct.
I'll go ahead and entertain, unless there's further comment, a motion on item C.
I move we approve the employee health care plan changes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Okay, the last thing we'll get to talk about is, on this business, legal, finance, and consent agenda is this resolution that I started blabbing about before we pulled it. So, does anybody have any questions or comments? I've spoken quite a bit.
I've got a few. I want to first thank the speakers that came tonight. It's been a while since we've had any.
Really
and I appreciate y'all staying as well. Most of our speakers just come and say their 2 cents and then leave and don't really care to listen to your elected officials. So I appreciate y'all sticking around. Those of you that know me know how disgusted I am with our statewide elected officials and them thinking they need to come and tell Tyler ISD how to do what we've been doing for the last 25 years without their help. We are individually elected. We represent this community. So just start with that. We're not gonna come in here and have them tell us to go employ a bunch of chaplains to take over as counselors in our schools. We're gonna handle things the exact same way we've been handling them. I think it does irritate me that they would make all of us come up here and have a vote, like we're just some kind of little peons that hadn't been focused on improving our schools and the lives of our children for decades. So just know that that's not gonna happen in Tyler, Texas. I don't see anything changing from what we're doing. We find good people to help our children become citizens of this community that can be a benefit and that can actually thrive in life. So whether that's someone of faith, someone not of faith, we just find good people and we try to put them in the classroom and we certainly try to have them as counselors, and our counselors are going to be trained. I mean, I don't think there's anyone up here that thinks that we're going to go haul off and start doing whatever a couple of those guys in Austin think they have the answers. So, yeah. So basically, we hear you. I don't disagree with what the majority of you said. And we will continue to govern our schools the way we've been governing them.
Anybody else? Yes.
Go ahead.
I would like to thank you as well for coming, and I totally agree. I have a master's in mental health, and I can't counsel. And so we surely don't want somebody counseling that is not trained and trained to do what counselors do. And we're not getting rid of our counselors. In fact, we've hired more counselors to help our children. So we appreciate you coming and saying, we've always said that we do what's best for our community. And so you are our community, so we're going to do what's best for our community.
I agree with what's been said wholeheartedly. I think that TISD's been adequately run in a number of ways without the state interjecting, with the state's interjection, because a lot of things that we address, it doesn't originate with us. It's in response to what the state is requiring. So we have to act on it, similar to this one. So I think that we don't forget who we are and who we represent in regards to that. And we have to be very objective in making decisions. So I think that this board has always done that. And I think we will continue to do that, and not allowing people to dictate what we do within our district.
Thank you. Dr. Crawford, we still control hiring, right?
We also approve who goes through the volunteer.
We
Like, there's some people, they may pass all the background checks. We're not going to let them volunteer just because they want to volunteer. They've got to have a purpose. They've got to fit with what our needs are. And so some of the comments that were made there, just because you say you want to volunteer doesn't mean you get to volunteer. And so we do control who we hire. It is not in our staffing forecast, Ms. Bjork, to actually go and employ. We think that the volunteer way of this and us figuring out where they fit and where they don't fit is the best way to do this, is to attack this. This consideration that's going to happen in 1,100 school districts across the state. And it's not 2 guys, it's 10. I looked at.
I'm just mad at 2.
I know. But there's the primary author and the co-authors and then the sponsors. Some of our, most renowned and prominent that we've been seeing lately. So in saying that, yeah, there's not going to be a change on what we've been doing. In fact, we're making an affirmation that we've been doing this, like Mr. Bergfeld said, in a way that has been as least disruptive to some of the needs that were spoken about here at the podium. We realize we have a diverse group of kids that need a diverse group of things. And
so there's not going to be any change in the way we hire counselors?
Absolutely not.
Or any employment? We're not approving any sort of employment of chaplains?
That is correct.
Okay.
Y'all are gonna take action on affirming the way we do it now, and that is the existing policy, and that's volunteerism to fit where they fit.
And since this state wanted they wanted everybody to put their hand in the air, kind of mandated everybody in the state, every board's going to take a vote on this thing. I want you to pay, if you do, but can pay attention to the way this thing is worded and our way of doing this. And it just says we resolve to accept chaplains as volunteer in accordance with existing policy. So there's not any major changes. And I hate that there was any sort of, miscommunication prior to this.
Well,
but I'm glad we're getting to talk about it.
Let's also be honest that what's at play here are the playbooks that are at each other right now. So we didn't communicate anything out to anybody that we were doing this a certain way. Y'all got this through Facebook. Y'all got this through grassroots type of stuff that said we need to show up at school board meeting, and you might have understood it to be that way, but that is not what we're designing here. We know why it was designed, where it was designed, and we also know what's trying to fight against it. So what we try to do in Tyler is take the politics out of things and try to get kids better at reading. Listen to me, that's East Texas. Try to get kids better at reading, more proficient at reading and in literacy, and numeracy, excuse me. So that's our focus. We're not gonna go try to reinvent the wheel on trying to do things differently, because it's starting to work here for the last decade, I think, and we're keep going down that same path.
Okie dokie. Anybody else have any comments or questions on this? So I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on the recommendation of the district that the board approve the resolution to accept chaplains as volunteers in accordance with existing policy.
I move we approve the administration's recommendation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
I'm going to oppose.
Okay. The ayes have it. Motion carries 6-1. And moving on, we will, going on to our curriculum instruction consent agenda, consider the approval of the district calendar for 2024 and 2025. We get all the bugs worked out there, Dr. Crawford?
Yeah, one tweak. We did confirm spring break, March 17th through the 21st. This is 2025. So this is, 14, 15, 16 months away. The Christmas break, 2024, if you'll go down to that, if you're interested, that 20th, the 20th date, that Friday, is an early release date. That was, the 19th was designated as an early release day, and the 20th was a professional development day. We listened to our community, to our parents that were out there that said it was going to be difficult to find daycare for their kiddos. So we went ahead and made that a school day, which is never a bad thing, right? And then another thing that we didn't delve into was taking the full week off, or even half a week off after New Year's. That following week, the week of the 6th on there. There were some that wanted to go ahead and take that. And Markle, did you submit that? That you didn't want to come back to school until the 13th of January? I'm just kidding. But we resisted that. It's the same concept, the same premise that we realize that folks out there work. And while we get 17 straight days off, maybe sometimes 18 here in this calendar, in our profession, it isn't about us. It's well-deserved. Our staff deserves that. But when you start talking about turning an 18-day break into a 22-day break, Ms. Bjork, what are we, higher ed? No, we're not. They get like 6 weeks off. But saying that was some of the adjustments we made. We've spent enough time talking about the calendar. Do you have any questions? If so, you can ask them now or even afterwards, because superintendent per policy does have the opportunity to actually adjust the calendar on the fly, like snow days, things like that. Totalitarian, what's it called, Jennifer? No, we're not going to talk about it. What's it called? Totalitarian Tyler? What? Totalitarian. I'm just kidding. I know. Get it? Okay. Totality Tyler. That's coming in April this year.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the calendar? I will say that every day you take off, it is a load for working parents, so I appreciate you looking out for.
It's also a day kids aren't reading. There we go. We got it. That's what we are. We go to school.
Did you say you did make a change to spring break?
No, we confirmed.
Confirmed.
We talked about, and we all try to get lined up because of TJC and UT Tyler, and then the school districts locally as well. But that was not changed per the first reading.
Okay, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on the calendar.
Motion to approve the calendar.
We want to take A and B separately.
Yeah.
Is the Boshears calendar still?
We did not change it from the
Okay.
first reading.
So I'll entertain a motion. Thank you on items A and B there. Both
Motion
of the
to
calendars.
approve A and B
Very
calendars.
well. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it and the motion carries. Okay, a little discussion. We got a TASB update for a couple of policies.
First readings there. If you have any questions, contact myself or the appropriate administrator addressing those policies. Probably Dr. Gropel.
Thank you.
About time we
Future
did
business, we have a workshop. Mr. Leverett's mentioned next year. And January 11th, 2024 and January 22nd, we'll have a regular meeting. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move that this meeting be adjourned.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.